podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
You're listening to Saucepans and Sidesteps.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of Saucepans and Sidesteps. I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by new Scarlets second row signing, Max Douglas. Thank you very much for joining us, Max.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me. Pleasure.
And I guess first question: is Max short for anything, or is it just Max?
My full name or my government name is Maxwell, but I only ever hear that if I'm in trouble with my old lady. So
yeah, no problem at all. It was just something us boys. We were chatting on the WhatsApp group, wondering what it could be. As in, one of the boys was hoping it might have been Maximus, but Maxwell's still very strong, so we don't mind that. But anyway, now I don't know if you're a man who's into your stats, but Hugh, my fellow podcaster, loves his stats. And after your debut, he came up with this list that you completed 28 tackles, you won 6 lineouts, you made 2 dominant hits, and no turnovers lost. As in, you must have been very happy with how your first outing in the famous Scarlet jersey went.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I think that the tackle stat was probably pretty reflective of how the game went, I guess. There was, we definitely didn't have as much possession as we wanted, and a few of us boys in the middle had a bit of work to do there. So, but that was, that's the way it went. And I guess that was, I was happy to be able to put in that kind of shift. And, it's just about kind of doing that week in, week out, and and offering that as much as I can.
And obviously then a battling draw for the team out in Italy, then back to Parc y Scarlets for your first home match for the region, and a Welsh derby. And that, what was that sort of experience?
Yeah, it was
like in front of a big home crowd and a derby.
Yeah, it was really good. It was I'd heard a bit about the derbies leading up to during the week, and I'd had some messages from afar as well. So it was I was pretty queued up on what it was going to be like, and I definitely didn't disappoint. One thing that I kept getting told was how loud and how vocal our crowd is, and that was something that we got a lot of energy out of, and I think on the other side of the coin, it was probably what made it all the more disappointing in the end. You get a crowd like that, and how vocal and how much support we could feel from the crowd, to then sort of, I guess, give up that kind of result was, it was probably the most disappointing part of the day for us. But yeah, the Welsh derbies are good. There's a bit more spice in it, and I really enjoyed that part of the game.
I guess the good thing is that you can right those wrongs in a couple of weeks when you make the short journey back up to Cardiff for the reverse fixture, I guess.
Yeah, exactly right. And that'll be the thing. It's just about bringing a bit more heat and making a few small fixes on our end, and I think it, we can really do some damage.
And sorry, yeah. You carry on. Your answers are more important than questions.
No, I was just saying we make those fixes. Come that Cardiff game, I think we'll be raring to go. Hopefully it'll be a very different outcome.
Now, obviously, you've got a couple of games under your belt. 31 tackles, 100% line-out success. As in, when you sort of look at your own game, what would you say your strengths are, and what do you bring and offer on the pitch?
Yeah, I think those stats paint a fairly good picture. The two of the big ones you mentioned there was two of the major parts I was trying to bring when I arrived here, and that was a bit more starch and a bit of grunt defence, and I can produce plenty of work, so that was something I tried to do, and I guess I did against Benetton, and particularly with the amount of defence that was required. And then I mean, the line out one is the other big part for me was bringing up and bringing a bit of leadership, and a bit of nous to the line out, and I'm lucky. I've got some really good coaches and really good locks around us and line out heads. So that makes my job a lot easier as the caller.
And it's as if you knew what my next question was going to be, the way you've teed me up wonderfully there. 160 minutes of rugby, no lineouts lost for the Scarlets yet. Without wanting to give too much away for any opposing fans or teams listening, what is the key to that success? Because we don't often see that anywhere in World Rugby where teams get 100% in one game, let alone back-to-back matches.
Yeah, I mean, we'll try not to jinx it, but yeah, I guess we just we do a lot of work during the week, and I'm just trying to make smart decisions around when we call, and I'm lucky I can lean on guys around me. We've got a really good group of line out leaders here, and it's been a bit of a focus of ours is calling to the right areas and making good decisions. And we've worked a lot on our fundamentals, and we got some really handy throwers that make us look good. So yeah, I think it's definitely a sort of a group effort, that.
And right, that's enough for the serious stuff now. Let's get down to some nitty-gritty questions and find out a bit more about Max Douglas. How are you settling into life in Wales and at the Scarlets so far?
Yeah, enjoying it, mate. It's a good group. The boys here are, I guess, pretty like-minded, and they're similar to me in a lot of ways, and I'm settling good. I really like the group, and that's one of the big ones, I guess, coming from overseas. Moving to a new country and not knowing anyone. I think the group here has made the transition really easy, and I've been able to have a few beers with the group, and we get on pretty well here, so that makes day-to-day life a lot easier.
And buddied up with anyone in specific, or are you sort of still mingling like a social butterfly?
Nah, plenty of mingling. That's it. I think that's the good thing about this group is there's no sort of cliques at all. It's everyone gets around each other. We all have a good time together. So definitely, it's one thing it's probably stood out is how well you get along with everyone across the whole squad. So yeah, it makes like I said again, makes life pretty easy day in, day out.
So I guess then, because obviously we've seen a few pictures on social media of the boys sort of, I think it was out in Italy, and there was one during the Kamal and Quins pre-season match where there was sort of groups on different tables. There's no hierarchy or anything like that. It just happens to be that boys are sort of sitting in the same groups. There's no sort of, you have to sit here until you've played X amount of games or anything like that.
No. There's, I think, only on the buses, on away trips and things, and on the way to the airports, you just, you leave a few of the big dogs to the back seat. But we got to look after those old boys that, those guys that have played a lot of games you take care of. But it's a bit of a laugh, to be fair. It's you got to play by the rules in that sense. So that's all. It's all in good spirit. So yeah, that's about it, to be honest.
Oh, it's good to hear. Good to hear. And in terms of before joining, how much did you know about the Scarlets? Had you heard of them? As in, were they something that you were aware of, or?
Yeah, weirdly, I actually had been to a Scarlets game. I only realised this not that long ago, but I must have been 18. I come off like an Aussie schoolboys kind of tour of Scotland and Ireland, and then one of my old man's really good mates used to coach Cardiff, John Mulvihill. So we fellow Aussie and no stranger to a few pints, old Mulvers. So we ventured over to Wales and came and had a look, and it just coincidentally it was a Cardiff Scarlets game around New Year's, I think, or New Year's Christmas time back then. So I actually watched that game, and I can't remember. I think Scarlets might have got up, but yeah, it was just a weird coincidence, isn't it? So I knew a bit about Welsh rugby. I'd played with a Welsh guy and against a couple of guys in Japan. So I had plenty of connections, I guess, and could do plenty of research before coming. And from everything I'd heard before I signed and got here, it was definitely going to suit me, and it was going to be a place I'd enjoy being at, and yeah, it's definitely lived up to all of that.
Oh, fantastic! Well, hopefully, long may that continue. And it's almost as if you've seen my questions, because my next one you've led perfectly into, obviously signing from the Yokohama Cannon Eagles in Japan.
Yeah.
What was that experience like, sort of living and playing out in Japan?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was one of the best decisions I made. I grew up playing for the Waratahs and everything, and supporting the Waratahs and getting to play with them was great. But then, I made a sort of, it was a bit of a 50-50 call at the start go, and I was really happy to take the chance in Japan, and I spent a couple of years there, and I got to play with some of the, I guess, the best players in the world. And against some of the best players in the world. So, what that did for my game personally, and just for life experience, it was I couldn't speak higher of it, to be honest.
Oh, fantastic! But we're all glad that you decided to hop on a plane again and travel to Europe and end up internationally with the Scarlets. Now, I'm sure you're aware, the URC every season they hold an origin round where they get players to embrace their communities and the clubs they grew up playing for. Do you know whose socks you're going to be wearing yet on that match?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether I wear socks from back home, represent the Manly Marlins, my local club, or I'll have to either that or I'll have to get around one of the local clubs up here. So I'll have to do a bit of research and get back to you if that's the case. So I'll have a look around and see which socks look the wildest. Maybe that might be part of the decision. We'll see.
Nice. That certainly sounds like a show me you're an Australian without telling me, finding the wildest socks that are out there. But no, we can certainly try and help you on the pod to find some wild socks if you want. That's no problem at all. And to sort of finish off, we thought we'd get to know the real you with some quick fire questions, if that's okay. So it seems to be the go-to thing on social media now. So they're all one, well, I say they're one-worded answers. Some might be a bit longer than that, but an easy one to start with. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Rolling maul, running rugby.
Rolling mall.
If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
Ooh, invisibility.
Nice. If you could be an animal, what would you be?
I always wondered this. Maybe like an ape.
Nice, strong, powerful. Yeah, suits the rugby style as well. So we like the sound of that. Any pre-match superstition?
Nah, nothing too superstitious. I guess it's more just processes. The way I strap my legs exactly the same way, for like my line out tape, and yeah, wear the same sort of, I have the grip socks under, which I guess has turned into a bit of a craze, but I have the same sort of pair of them, and the same tights on my pants, but nothing. It's not really superstition. It's just probably the only decent sets of things I own. So we're going to
Last meal on earth, what would you eat?
Ooh, that'd be surf and turf.
Nice. And finally, you're hosting a dinner party and can invite any three people to sit around the table with you for supper. Who would you pick?
Right. Shane Warne, Aussie cricket legend, rest in peace. I'd go with Johnny Manziel, the college and turned NFL footballer, and then maybe someone a bit more local. Cubby.
Nice.
That might be good.
Yeah, but that sounds like one hell of a party, and I don't think you'd be finishing very early if you had them around for supper. Might be better having them around for breakfast. You've got all day to to catch up, let's say.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Max, that's all for me. Thank you very much for your time and for joining us on the Saucepans and Sidesteps podcast. And to anybody listening or watching at home, if you've enjoyed, click like, subscribe, follow, whatever platform you're on. And Max, all the best from us all for the season, and we look forward to seeing you tearing it up both at the park and away from Parc Scarlets as well. Diolch yn fawr, thank you.
Diolch, thank you very much. Been a pleasure.
That was Saucepans and Sidesteps. Please rate, review and share on socials if you can, and join us again next week for more of the same. And until then, enjoy your rugby.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.